The first thing anyone who's looking to get into PC building needs to know is that there's a lot of technical jargon involved. Now, this may be overwhelming in and of itself in certain cases, but what exacerbates this problem is the fact that sometimes the jargon gets meshed up. Sometimes two terms that aren't the same get thrown around as if they're synonyms. As you might expect, this can cause quite the confusion, especially when you're new to everything and just trying to figure stuff out for the first time. So we're going to talk about the most notable example of this that we've come across, which has to do with GPUs and graphics cards. These two terms get used interchangeably quite often. In fact, we've used them interchangeably ourselves at times, but they're not the same. So let's see where the differences lie. The term GPU is an acronym that stands for Graphics Processing Unit. This is essentially a processor that's specialized to do graphics processing. Graphics processing requires that many smaller and less complex equations be done rapidly. Conversely, the CPU handles more complex stuff like the enemy AI. So when you're playing a game and your frame rate is low, this is typically the GPU's doing. But if you're playing a strategy game and the AI needs forever to make a move, upgrading the GPU won't hasten this process since it's handled by the CPU. In general, most of the workload regarding in-game graphics is handled by the GPU. So if the GPU is the component that does all the heavy lifting when it comes to in-game graphics, where does that leave the graphics card? Well, the graphics card enables the GPU to do its thing, so to speak. Let's elaborate. The graphics card is comprised of several parts. One of those parts is the GPU. So referring to the graphics card as the GPU could be justified as a sort of metonymy. In any case, the GPU is just one part of the graphics card, but it isn't the only part. We also have the video memory, the PCB, the connectors, and the cooler. All of these things together make up the graphics card. So while the GPU, strictly speaking, refers to the graphics chip manufactured by NVIDIA and AMD, the term graphics card refers to the finished product made by companies such as Asus, Gigabyte, EVGA, and so on that you can purchase off the shelf. And this basically does it for this video. We don't want to bog it down with too much information. Everything you may want to know about the other graphics card specs or manufacturers you can find on our channel. We've even linked some of the most relevant videos in the description box below. And that's pretty much it. Short and succinct. Nothing more to add. At least there's nothing more to add to this issue specifically. But before we close things off, we'd like to mention a couple of other potentially confusing graphics card related terms and shine some light on them as well, starting with discrete or dedicated graphics cards. A discrete or dedicated graphics card refers to most graphics cards as we know them. This means they're individual components that have all of the things we've mentioned: GPU, video memory, fans, and so on. In this case, the terms discrete and dedicated are wholly synonymous. In most cases, these discrete or dedicated graphics cards are plopped into the PCI Express slot on the motherboard, and that's why they interface with the rest of the computer. However, we also have external graphics cards that don't interface with the motherboard. Now, here's the thing. External graphics cards are still the very same dedicated or discrete graphics cards that can be inserted into the motherboard. We only refer to them as external graphics cards when they're installed in an external enclosure and connected to the PC via a Thunderbolt 3 port. The bottom line is that you can't go to a hardware store and look for an external graphics card. The graphics card itself is the same regardless of whether it interfaces with the motherboard through a PCI Express slot or a Thunderbolt 3 port. What's external about it is the case that it's paired up with. External graphics cards are mostly used by laptop gamers who want to indulge in both portability and performance. So external graphics cards aren't the opposite of a discrete or a dedicated graphics card, they're just a subtype, if you will. The opposite of discrete or dedicated graphics cards are integrated graphics. Integrated graphics, or integrated GPUs, refer to a GPU that is integrated with a CPU. This is where making a distinction between the GPU and the graphics card is important. With integrated graphics, both GPU and CPU cores are on the same die. As such, they aren't privy to all of the non-GPU related parts of the graphics card that we've mentioned, like the video memory, PCB, and the cooling system. Instead of its own VRAM, integrated GPUs have to rely on system RAM. All of this helps to make integrated GPUs significantly more power efficient than discrete graphics cards. In terms of performance, however, they pale in comparison to even the most basic dedicated models. Lastly, we should mention APUs. We've made a whole video where we discussed the differences between GPUs, CPUs, and APUs in depth, so you should refer to the link in the description if you'd like a more comprehensive explanation. But basically, APUs are CPUs with integrated graphics made by AMD. The acronym stands for Accelerated Processing Unit, but really it's more of a marketing tool than anything else. That said, AMD has managed to push the boundaries of integrated graphics far beyond their previous limits, so if you're looking to build a PC that uses integrated graphics, you should strongly consider getting an APU. They still can't compete with discrete graphics cards, not even entry-level ones. If you'd like to game without a dedicated graphics card, it doesn't get any better than this. And that about does it for this video. To summarize, the GPU is the chip manufactured by NVIDIA or AMD that graphics cards are built around. While it is technically the most essential part of a graphics card, it most certainly isn't the only one. The term graphics card refers to the whole piece of hardware, including video memory, PCB, connectors, and fans, as well as the GPU. In any case, we hope you found this video helpful. You can let us know if you have by liking it, sharing it with friends, and leaving a comment. And if you'd like to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe to our channel and enable notifications so that you can always stay up to date with the channel. We upload a new video every week, so the next one's just around the corner. In the meantime, may your games be fun and your losses few. And as always, we'll see you next time on Gaming Scan.